Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be going through all the books that I want to get to by the end of the year, including my December TBR. For the books that I have in here, these are books that I've been meaning to read for a while, or books that I've just really been wanting to read recently. Now I don't think I'm going to get to all of these because there are I think like 8 or 9. I've kind of been in a reading slump, but I feel that I'm slowly getting out of one because of the book I just started last night. I have 2 romances, everything else is fantasy. I'm a big mood reader too, so if I get to these, if I don't, it's not a big deal. But yeah, so without further ado, I'm just gonna go through all the books that I have here, starting with 3 books that I'm in the middle of. I don't like to be in the middle of books at all. I don't like reading multiple books at once, but it kind of just happens. Let me go start with the first book. Now, if I don't finish this book by the end of the year, I don't know what's wrong, but that is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Technically, it's the Final Empire. This is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy. I actually started this quite a while ago. I almost want to say like 2 months ago or something, and the thing is, it's not like the book is bad. I literally have no idea why I just stopped reading this. I think it's because it's definitely a more fantasy book that you really have to, you know, be 100% in, and when I was reading it, and even now, I knew I wasn't going to be and put 100% of my attention on it because school and work, but I literally only have like about a week and a half left of school, and then I'm done for a month, so perfect time for me to pick this up. But I am currently on page 124. I'm on chapter 8. I'm really loving it. I really am. I love the dynamic between our 2 characters. We follow Kelsier and Vin. So pretty much what goes on in this book, or at least what has happened so far, they live in this world where the bad guy won, essentially. There's this thing called the Mist, and I don't 100% understand it. Also, it's been like a month since I read it, so I don't remember the big details here, but it's like this kind of like storm, and if you go in it, I think it like burns your skin or something. I'm not really sure. I know that like people say like don't go with the mist. So the magic system in this book and the series is such a creative idea. I've never heard of anything like it before. So what the magic system is it is based off of injecting metals. So there are certain metals that go with certain powers. There is a little guide in the back too, which metal has which power. Most people who are the Mistings can only inject 1 metal. However, the Mistborns, which there are very few of them, I think most of them, if they are found out, they get killed. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's very dangerous to have others know that you are a Mistborn. And they can inject all 8, I think it's 11. So there's 8 on the back, but I know they were talking about there's like 2 or 3 extra ones that are really hard to find, or just like rare metals, I guess. But I love the dynamic in between the characters so much. So we follow Kelsier as he brings together a team to complete his mission. I'm not going to tell you what that mission is. So I know what I'm at right now is we're in the middle of like the training sessions, because obviously Vin is very new to kind of figuring out her power, because she does have a power. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but her whole life she never really understood it and never had anybody to like teach her how to control it, teach her how to use it. So obviously there is some trainee and trainer, wait, is it mentor and mentee? Is that what it is? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. We have some of that going along, and I love it so much. Like the world and the characters that Brandon Sanderson has created in this book. I've also read Trust and Emerald Sea by him as well. Absolutely, he's a genius in writing. Don't know how he does it. So yeah, that's everything about Mistborn. I'm definitely picking this up. I promise. I'm going to be picking it up. I just think being in school and stuff and trying to read a high fantasy, I don't know if this is categorized as high fantasy, because you can also find it in the YA section. Don't know why, but yeah, so there's Mistborn for Brandon Sanderson. Then the next 2 books, so the next book I'm in the middle of is a series that I've had on my shelf for such a long time. In my last video, I started the first one and it was okay. I liked it enough to keep going. I finished it. I think I listened to the second half on an audiobook. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like a favorite of mine. I knew it wasn't going to be. There is another series by this author that I have read, and it is one of my favorites of all time. The series that I started my last video is the City of Bones, or the Mortal Instruments series. This is a 6-book series by Cassandra Clare. This is the first series in her Shadowhunters universe, but not in timeline order, in publication order. So yeah, I finished the first one. I finished City of Glass in my last video, and I started City of Ashes a couple days ago. I'm not that far into it. I'm like 1/3 of the way through. I'm on page 162. The thing about these chapters is that they're so long. I'm on chapter 8. I just started part 2. It's pretty good so far. I don't really know how to explain this series, but in this world there are Shadowhunters, which are pretty much demon hunters. They're downworlders, who are like your vampires, your werewolves, and those like supernatural creatures. And we follow Clary, who is just normal. I think she's turning 16 in this. We follow Clary as she is a complete ordinary human, and she goes to like this bar with her friend. I think it's for her birthday, and she sees somebody get killed. Nobody else sees it though. Like, she's the only one that sees it happen, so she's really confused, and she obviously sees these people with marks all over their skins, which are runes. So Clary is pulled in with the rest of the shadow hunters because they're confused. Like, they don't understand why she can see them, and obviously she doesn't understand why she can see them. And we pretty much just follow that. We kind of figure out why Clary can see the shadow hunters. It's really just the introduction book, so like not really a lot of stuff happens. It's really just like I said, an introductory book, the magic system, how the runes work, and the magic that is intertwined with the runes that they write on their skin. Yeah, it's a good series so far. Granted, I'm only on book 2 out of 6, but I am really enjoying this one. I haven't read it in a couple days because I wasn't really in that reading mood, but I am getting back into it. So I have started this on audiobook. I've been listening to it on audiobook so far. I do need to do some reading journaling for my December reading journal spread, so I might listen to some more of this too. Definitely want to read this and then go into City of Glass, which is the 3rd book. So how you read the series in particular is you read the first 3 books and then you go back to the Infernal Devices, because I'm pretty sure Clockwork Princess, which is the last book in the trilogy, it spoils something for this series. I think obviously because I read that series first, I don't really remember, because I read it so long ago, I don't really remember what exactly it spoils. So you read that trilogy and then you go back and finish the series off, and then you can go on to the Darker Shades of Magic series and then go into the Last Hour series and finish the universe off with that. So my plan is to finish the first half of the trilogy off and then start my reread of the Infernal Devices series in 2025. That does not seem real to even say that. That's insane. These are the 2 books that I really want to get to. If I read both of these and jump into the Infernal Devices, obviously I would love to do that. I'm going to be doing I don't know if I want to do a spoiler or not spoiler filled video for that, but I'm going to be doing a whole video rereading that series because it's literally one of my favorites. I could go on and on for that about that series, but I will wait and do that in that video. Yeah, that's one of my goals, is to obviously reread that series. If that sounds interesting to you guys, let me know in the comments if you want me to do spoiler fills or not spoilers. If I don't do spoilers, I'll definitely have a spoiler section maybe thrown out throughout the video, or just at the very end. Like, maybe I'll split it in half and do like the first, I don't know, 20 minutes of the video non-spoilers, and second 20 minutes be like spoilers. I'm not really sure. Let me guys know what you think if that sounds interesting to you. But let's go on to our next book, which is the book that I started last night, and I'm actually kind of obsessed. And I don't know if this was a good idea to start this book because it's part of a series and I don't have any of the other books. I'm not supposed to be buying any more books just because I've bought too many books and I need to read the books that I have on my bookshelf. Anyway, that is The Servant of the Wings of Night by Christopher Bonpland. Obviously, it's just like everybody else in Book Talk and on BookTube. I've seen this floating around. I've been meaning to read it for such a long time, and I finally did it. I was kind of nervous at first. I heard a couple of things that it was slow to get into, but honestly, I didn't really have trouble getting into it. Like, I'm already on page 104 and I started it last night, and I had like a 7-hour shift today. So literally all I've been wanting to do is go back home and read this book. So we're excited to continue on with this. We follow our main character, Aura. Is it Aura? I think that's how you explain it. And there's this big trial, or I guess trials, that happen every couple centuries. She wants to go do these trials, and this world is filled with vampires. All the characters are vampires, and she's like the only real human. And she lives like with this like king or something like that. And so the prize of this trials is that you are given a kind of like a genie wish from this goddess. I can kind of make a theory that if she wins this trial, I know exactly, or I have a theory of what her wish would be. But she is so ruthless and badass. Like I really like her as a main character. I love how strong she is. Like, give me a strong female character and I will eat it up every single time, because that's so empowering as a woman, you know, reading about, like, even though they're fake, even though it's a fantasy world and there's like vampires and stuff, but it's not real. But reading a book with a strong female character is so like empowering and so like, I don't really know how to explain it. And then our main guy character, Ron. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, so we have him, and he's like a vampire, and she meets him during these trials. And the part that I just got at is he like kind of like helping her with something, and I won't tell you exactly what that is, but he's like helping her. I'm like, aren't you supposed to be like what's going on? So I have a theory as to why he's helping her. I don't exactly know if it's true or if there's anything behind that, or he's just doing it out of the kindness of his heart, which I don't think that's the case. But yeah, really liking it so far. We just started the second trial, or we're going to the second trial. The first one just finished. It's reading really fast, which I like too, hence I was able to knock out like 100 pages today already. It really just jumped right into it, which I found really interesting too. Like two chapters in and we're already starting the first trial, which I found really interesting because I've only read a couple books that have trials in them, but usually the trials don't start till like 100 pages later, when you get like, I guess like 50 pages later, when you get introduced to the characters, to the world, to the magic system, if there is one. But in this, we're literally just thrown into it. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, really excited to keep going with this. I'm nervous that once I finish, I'm gonna want the second book right away, and honestly, I might just have to do it. But that's a decision for future me. The next 3 books are books that I have had on my radar for quite a while, and books that I've just been like really wanting to pick up. So the first one is Foxglove by Adeline Grace. This is the second book in the Belladonna trilogy. I read Belladonna earlier this year. I read it on audiobook and really liked it. It's like a gothic YA fantasy story. Yeah, I'm really excited to get to the second one. I think I'm gonna have to do like a video like kind of recapping the first one, because like I remember what happens, but also again I was listening to it on audiobook, so like I wasn't paying 100% attention to like all the little details and stuff. Definitely want to pick this one up this month to continue on with the series, because I really enjoy it and I've been meaning to pick this up for a while, but again I've just been kind of starting books here and there. The next book is a book that the fact that I haven't read it is also really crazy, because I read the first one this year, absolutely loved it. It's in one of those books that I'm like, why have I not picked this up sooner? But I've heard some discourse about this book, heard some reviews, and I'm scared. I'm scared that I'm not gonna like it, even though the reason why I like the series is because of the characters, not because of the plot is great. Because like, let's be real, it's like 90% romance, 10% plot. And honestly, because I love the romance between the two characters so much, I don't really mind that there's no plot. So like, maybe I will love this. But if I don't, I mean, it's gonna be fine. The next one comes out in like April. But anyway, the book that I'm talking about is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This is the second book in the Powerless trilogy. Yeah, I loved Powerless so much. I gave it a 5-star, and I knew that right away. I like binged the second half of the book in like one day, and I have a whole like video of me like reading it and stuff. But it was so good, and I've heard some things about this book kind of take me out of wanting to read it because of those negative reviews, but I really just gotta push everyone's thoughts aside and read it and figure that out for myself and figure out why I like it. Because I've also heard people rate this highly, again, because of the characters. Like, do I really care what else is happening? I do, but I'm here for the characters. I'm here for the romance between them, and based on how the first one ended, and that's like one of the things I don't really understand why I haven't picked it up besides that, because like I want to know what happened so bad. I want it to be good, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of my discourse around this book and why I haven't started it. Definitely going to be picking this up because I am filming a video for this, so you will be seeing me read this month. I promise you that. But yeah, definitely going to be reading this month, and I'm super excited. The next book that I have on here is a book that I'm also a little bit nervous about. I continue to finish off the Cruel Prince trilogy this year. It has been a series that has also been on my shelf for a very long time, probably since either 2020 or 2021. And I've tried to read the first book probably like 5 different times, couldn't get into it, and I was really nervous, like maybe the series isn't for me, maybe it's too YA. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna pick up an audiobook. Yeah, started it, finished the whole thing. Wasn't my favorite, I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad that I read it and stuff, obviously, but it wasn't like a favorite. It was like a 3-star, like a solid 3-star, because it wasn't bad. I did enjoy it for what it was, but it could have been a lot better. And then I picked up The Wicked King, which is the second book in the trilogy, in September. I think I did like a 24-hour readathon either September or October. Yeah, I picked it up, read it on audiobook, and I absolutely loved it so much. I think I gave it like a 4.5, I think. Literally loved it so much. Immediately ran and listened to the second one. Also loved it too. And then I got How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories. It's a mouthful. Finished that, read that, really fun. I loved seeing a little bit of more background on Cardan. With all that being said, Holly Black came out with a spin-off series which follows Oak, which is either Jude's brother or half-brother. I don't exactly remember, but we follow him in the Stolen Heir. We follow him, and I've also heard some mixed reviews about this. Some people say they don't like it, some people say they like it. I think it's gonna be good. I am really excited to be back in Elfame. I really liked the world. I love how the fairies are depicted in this world. They feel like, you know, real fae. Like whenever I think about fae, I think about the fae and the fairies that are in this world. So yeah, I'm really excited to jump into this one. I think it's gonna be good. I don't know if I'm gonna listen to it on audiobook as well, but we'll see. So definitely gonna be reading this as well. And then as for the last two books I have in here, there are two romances. I always like to kind of throw a romance book on my TBR because I don't really know when I'll be in a romance mood, and they're also good palette cleansers between like fantasy books. The first one we have here is Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carland. I don't exactly know what this is about. I think the guy is a photographer, I think, but I know it's a second chance romance, and I love those types of romance books so much. So I'm really excited to see how I like this one. So the last romance that I have on here is From Luca with Love from Mariana Zapata. This has been on my TBR for I think a year, and I know it's a figure skating romance. I don't exactly know if the guy plays a sport or if it's just her, but obviously Mariana Zapata is like the queen of like slow burn romances, and I haven't actually read any books from her, and I think they just redid all the covers too, which is kind of unfortunate because I like the old covers. Also, they have a like matte cover, which is really cool. So yeah, those are all the books that I want to get to in December. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any recommendation on books you think I'll like or books that you want me to read, just leave them in the comments below and I'll definitely check them out. And yes, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, morning, night, wherever you're in the world, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.